Hello, yeah, welcome to Sew with Tia Sewing Challenge the 5. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful basic and trendy neckline. You are going to learn how to get the perfect neck width, the neck depth for your neckline to sit properly. And in the last two neckline styles, I'm going to be showing you how to tighten your neckline to avoid gaping. So if this is something you would like to watch, do well to stay to the end. To start with, we are going to learn how to get the perfect neck width and the neck depth of our neckline. Now, the formula you need to use is very simple. First of all, you need to be able to take your neck measurement, like your neck circumference measurement. So your neck circumference is same as your round neck measurement. And all you need to do to achieve this is to go in with your tape rule around your neck. You could put one finger in for ease, and whatever measurement you have there is your neck circumference measurement. Now, to get a perfect neck width for any body type, you have to divide this neck circumference by 5. Whatever value you get, that will be the least value you could use for your neck width. And for your neck depth, that is your neck circumference divided by 6. Whatever value you get, this is the least value which you could use for your neck depth. So I've done and you can see my neck width, the least I can use is 3, while the neck depth, the least I can use is 2.5. So if I want to sew a shirt, these two measurements are perfect for my shirt in order to allow my collar sit well, except I want the collar to be having a lot of ease. So the first neckline we are drafting is called a scoop neckline, and the neck width for this neckline I'll be using is 3 inches by 5.5. So the neck depth is 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead to measure the 3 inches on the other side, and I'm going to be connecting these points together using a line. So on this line, depending on the point you want, I'm just going to go ahead to create a C shape, like a curve shape. Now this will give me a U shape, and after that, I went ahead to trim it as you can see me do. And after opening it up, this is what my scoop neckline look like. The next neckline we are going to be drafting right now is called a boat neckline. Now the width of a boat neckline is always wide. Now, so for this, I'm going to be using 5.5, and the neck depth is way lower, and I'm going to be using 2.75 for my neck depth. So I'm just going to go ahead to connect these 2 points together with my pattern master as you can see me do. So this is what a boat neckline look like. It could also be called a canoe neckline. Now, the next neckline I'm going to be drafting is a V neckline. And for this, I'm making use of 3 inches, and the neck depth is going to be 6 inches. Okay, so I went ahead to connect my two lines together, and for this particular neckline it has this curve shape, so I'm just going to go ahead to create that curve shape as you can see me do. This is the beauty of the neckline, and I'm going to connect it to my mid point of my neckline. So after cutting, this is what the neckline look like. This is also a basic neckline you could use for any outfit. So this is a V neckline that has curved details. You could as well do a straight V neckline. All right, so we're moving on to the next neckline, as you can see. And for this neckline, I'm making use of 2.5 inches by 5 inches. Now, to get the perfect square, whatever you're using for your neck width, you're going to be multiplying it by 2 to get your neck depth. So for this, I used 2.5 inches for the neck width, and for the neck depth, I made use of 5 inches. So after going ahead to trim, you can see what I have. Okay, this is 5 by 5. This is a perfect square. Now, in case you don't want to do a perfect square, you could increase the value to what you want. All right, so now we're going to the next neckline, and this is an asymmetric neckline. So for this neckline, I made use of 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and I went ahead to connect these points together. Now for this particular neckline, you're going to be connecting the points on both sides of your pattern paper. Now this is what I have when I was done connecting both points. And one thing you need to understand about this neckline is it is not equal. Yes, both sides are not equal. So one side is higher while the other side is lower. So for this, I went on with a straight line initially from one point to another, and later on I went on to create a curve. Now you could do any shape you want. This is totally up to you, but this is what an asymmetric neckline look like. Okay, the next neckline we're going to be drafting is called a keyhole neckline. And for the neck width, I made use of 3 inches. And for the neck depth, I made use of 6 inches. Now, this is more like a 2-in-1 neckline. So the first part, I'm going to be making use of 3 by 3, like 3 inches for the neck width and 3 inches for the neck depth. And on that part, I'm going to be creating a scoop neckline. As you can see, I went ahead to create a scoop neckline on the first part. Okay, and now for my keyhole we have different design. For this, I'm just going to be doing an oval shape. First of all, I went down by 0.5 inches for my scoop neckline, and I divided whatever I have left in between this point to get my mid part. On my mid part, I went outward by 0.5 inches. Now if you like, you could do 1 inch, you could do 0.75. Just make sure that whatever you are doing there, when you open it up, you will have twice of that measurement. Afterward, I went on to shape my neckline, and I went ahead to cut my scoop neckline first, and I went ahead to cut my keyhole. So this is what a keyhole neckline looks like, and we have different design for this particular neckline. Now, the next neckline we're going to be cutting is called a sweetheart neckline. And for the neck width, I made use of 4 inches, and the neck depth, I made use of 6 inches. I went ahead to create my 2 connecting lines together for this neckline. And after doing that, you will determine where you want to have your midpoint. You could go higher, you could go lower. For me, I just made use of the mid part, and I went ahead with my pattern master, as you can see me do, to create this curvy line that goes inward in the mid neck. So this is what my sweetheart neck looks like when I'm done. And we have different design for this, but this is a basic sweetheart neck. All right, so the next neckline I'm going to be cutting is called a V-neckline or a scrub neckline. And for this, I'm going to be making use of 3.5 inches for the neck width and 6 inches for the neck depth. Now, for this particular neckline, I'm going to be going on the lower end from the mid neck. I'm going to be going outward by 0.75. If you like, you could do 1 inch, you could do 2 inch, depending on how wide you want your neckline to be. So after which you connect with a slant point to the mid neck width. So after cutting, this is what this neckline look like. Okay, this is a scrub or a V neckline, and I have a video on how you can sew a V neckline. I'll be leaving the link in the description. All right, the next neckline we're going to be cutting is called a scallop neckline. So scallop design is one of the design that is trending right now in fashion. So this design have different derivatives, but for this, the first thing I went out to do was to mark out my neck width and my neck depth. Then I created a slant line. Now on this slant line, you're going to be measuring whatever you have. In my case, I have 7.5 inches. Now on this slant line, you're going to be dividing the slant line by the number of scallop you want. So I wanted 4, and I went ahead to divide 7.5 by 4, and I just marked out the measurement. So after marking out the measurement, I went ahead to divide this same measurement into equal half because I'm going to be needing that point. Now on that point, so that is the midpoint, I went outward by 0.5 inches. Now all what I'm trying to do here is to have a an equal scallop shape. Okay, but in case you're not going for an equal scallop shape, you could as well work with your free hand or just get any particular round shape to create that scallop design. So this is more like a V scallop design. Okay, a V neckline scallop design, just like we could see in the picture that was shown earlier. So this is what a scallop design. The next neckline we are going to draft is a 2-in-1 neckline. So for this, the neck width I'm going to use is 3 inches, and the first neck depth I'm using is 3 inches. I made use of this to create a scoop neckline, then I went down by 3.5 inches. So the total neck depth I used for this neckline is 6.5 inches. And on the mid neckline, where the scoop neckline is, I went out by 1 inch. Now, on this particular design, you could have a V shape, you could have a U shape, but I just went on using a rectangle shape for this particular tutorial. So this is what the neckline looks like after cutting out. Okay, and this design, you could use it for different outfits, especially your native wear. So this is a 2-in-1 neckline, and it is so versatile. All right, the neck neckline we're going to be doing is called a Queen Anne neckline. And for this, I made use of 3 inches for the neck width, and for the neck depth, I made use of 6 inches. So I'm going to connect these points together as you can see me do. Now, on this point, I'm going to go to the I'm going to go to the upper end. As you can see, I'm going to go to the upper end and I'm going to go inward by 0.5 inches. Okay, so from that I'm going to create a slant, as you can see me do, to the end. Then on the mid neckline, I'm going to go higher by 2 inches. Now you can decide to go way higher than 2 inches. Just know that the higher you go, the closer it is to your neck. And after doing, I went ahead to connect it like so. Now this is a Queen Anne neckline, and this is one of the stylish design that is really trendy. And on this same neckline, I'm going to show you how to tighten it, because once this neckline is very deep, there's a tendency that it starts gaping. So this is what the neckline looked like after opening up, and I went ahead to create my dart, as you can see. So I'm going to be connecting that dart point. I'm going to connect a line to any point on this neck design. So you can choose any point on the neck design, and I'm going to be connecting that point to my 2 darts. So this is what I have. So on that neckline now, I'm going to tighten it by 0.5 inches. So I used 0.25 on both original dart. Now to my waist dart rather. So I went ahead to open up that dart on the neckline, as you can see. Then after opening it up on the neckline, you have to open it very close to the point where they meet. Then I went ahead to close up that neckline dart, and I went ahead to close up that neckline dart by taping it down with my sellotape. So after doing that, you could see that the waistline automatically becomes open. So I went ahead to repeat the same procedure for the second part, the second side rather, and I used the same 0.5 inches to tighten that neckline, connecting the point to my waist dart, and I went ahead to open up the darts on the neckline so that I'll be able to close it. Then I went ahead to open up the dart on the waistline. Then I closed up the darts on the neckline using my tape, just like the way I did the other side. Now when you are done with this, you are going to notice that your upper part becomes unequal. You have some excesses and some shortage. So all you need to do is just to go ahead to reshape your neckline design. Okay, reshape your neckline design and trim out the excess you don't want. So I just went ahead to do that, and your neckline is going to sit well when you are done sewing. So this is what this neckline look like. So the last neckline we're going to be drafting today is also a Queen Anne neckline, and for this, the neck width I made use of is 3 inches, while the neck depth I made use of is 6 inches. So after connecting my 2 lines together, I went ahead to find the midpoint, and on that midpoint, I went outward by 3 inches. So I'm going to be making a curve from that outward design. Then I'm going to be creating a slant, a curve slant toward my neck width, as you can see me do. And after doing that, I went ahead to just trim it off, and this is what the neckline looked like. Also, for this Queen Anne neckline, you have to tighten the neckline to avoid gaping. So just like what I did in the previous neckline, I'm going to go ahead to tighten this neck design by 0.5 inches, and I connected that line to my waist dart, as you can see. Then I'm going to go ahead to open up my waist dart. I'm going to open up my waist dart like so. Also open up my neck dart, like so. After doing so, I went ahead to close the neck dart with my sellotape. And closing the neck dart automatically makes your waist dart open. So once you've closed the neck dart, as you can see, take your time to trim out the excess you have in order to not to have shortage on that point. So it means your neckline becomes deeper than usual. All right, so that is all I did. I just went ahead to repeat the same thing on the other side, and I went ahead to tighten this neckline. So if you've gained value from those videos, do well to let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that when I post video, you get to see them. I hope you've learned something today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.